You're watching ABC7 News at 7.
Swimsuit, I'd like to see sportswear maybe, because honestly, Miss America's not going to be seen in a swimsuit again. So that's not really a part of what you need to be Miss America, but you do need to look good in a lot of different outfits.
For the first time in 97 years, Miss America contestants will not wear swimsuits. How do current and former contestants feel about the change? Good evening, everyone. I'm Jacqueline Matter, and welcome to ABC7 at 7. Alan Cohn has the night off. We'll have more on the changes to the Miss America pageant in just a moment, but first, our top 7 stories at 7. We begin tonight with Sarasota County Schools announcing a new police chief. Today, the district offering the job to a man with 22 years of law enforcement experience. Paul Grahowski has been named the chief of the new Sarasota County Schools Police Department. He will oversee the force, which includes 3 sergeants and 21 school resource officers going into the 2018-2019 school year. Grahowski comes to Sarasota from Allen Hancock Joint Community College in Santa Maria, California, where he recently served as the director of public safety, serving and protecting 4 college campuses.
Having worked at a community college and a sworn law enforcement agency as part of an educational institution, but also having worked out in that public sector in a public police department, understanding kind of both sides of that equation, that had great value to me.
Grahowski still needs to pass an intense background investigation before the district can officially hire him. The school board also has to approve that decision at their upcoming meeting on June 19th. The city of Northport also announcing its new chief of police today. City manager Peter Lear says Todd Garrison has accepted that position and will now go through his background check and physical. He'll likely start in the next 30 days. Garrison, a third-generation cop, is currently a captain with the Lee County Sheriff's Office, where he has served since 1994. Garrison's annual salary will start at $125,000. And Sarasota County Sheriff Tom Knight is drawing criticism after using his agency's official Facebook page to show support for Governor Rick Scott's U.S. Senate campaign. The Sarasota County Sheriff's Office shared a live video on Monday on Facebook of Scott receiving the endorsement of Sheriff Tom Knight and 54 other Florida sheriffs. The agency wrote that Knight was proud to support Governor Rick Scott in his run for Senate. Critics are now taking aim at the sheriff for that post. So do you think the sheriff should be using the agency's social media account to endorse a candidate? Well, head over to our Facebook page and let us know what your thoughts are. Agriculture Commissioner Adam Putnam defending his department's breakdown in reviewing background checks for applicants seeking concealed weapons licenses. Calling news reports misleading, Putnam says his agency acted properly after finding out it had failed for more than a year to conduct the national background checks. An Office of Inspector General report from last June says that between February of 2016 and March of 2017, the Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services did not access an FBI crime database called the National Instant Criminal Background Check System because an employee was unable to log into that system.
My focus is on preventing this in the future and solving the problem. When we became aware of the problem, we initiated the investigation. We undertook the process of reviewing the 365 names that had not been properly input in the system and ultimately revoking the 291 licenses.
Putnam, who is also a Republican candidate for governor, says his immediate focus is on making sure that that mistake does not happen again, and he will deal with whatever political fallout comes from that. Well, you might remember 3 weeks ago here on ABC7 at 7, we discussed the CNN report claiming more than 100 Uber drivers have been accused of sexual assault. Now, an Uber driver from Florida will be spending 22 years in prison for raping one of his passengers. 58-year-old Gary Kitchings was sentenced today in Palm Beach County. According to police, he took a 38-year-old woman from a concert in West Palm Beach to her home in Jupiter last May. The victim says Kitchings told her that he had a gun and forced her to submit to sex acts inside of his car and her home. Kitchings defended himself in court by saying the sex was consensual and that he was only guilty of cheating on his wife. He was convicted of 3 sexual battery counts and 2 other felony charges. We'll take a look at the picture on your screen. The Bradenton Police Department needs your help identifying these two people. They're wanted for questioning in a business burglary. If you have any information, call 941-932-9373. Well, it is almost time to grab some peanuts and Cracker Jacks in Northport. The new Braves spring training facility is on track, and this weekend you can see the progress. A launch party will be held this Saturday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the George Mullen Activity Center in Northport. There will be food, games, renderings of the new stadium, and a chance to buy tickets.
And there's many perks and benefits to the season ticket, whether it's movie night or kickball night or whatever happens at the stadium.
That stadium is set to be complete by the end of this year. Well, Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan has been tracking storms for us this evening. Let's check in with him. Bob?
Starting to wind down now in Manatee County after dumping over 2 inches of rainfall in some areas near State Road 64 and I-75. Some localized flooding there as a result of the ponding of water on some of the roadways. That's starting to recede right now, and driving's getting a little bit better into Manatee County as far as that goes. Tough weather still in Arcadia. That west coast sea breeze went inland and produced a few heavy storms from Northport, then stretching up through Lakewood Ranch and then eventually into Parrish, and never really getting to downtown Bradenton, but close. Terra getting some heavy rainfall, as well as Heritage Harbor and all the way up to Waterleaf. Right now that storm activity is now into Hillsborough County, that particular cell. But look at this, a stretch of showers and storms extending all the way down from Wauchula to Arcadia, and then starting to build back toward Northport, which saw a round of storms earlier today. Some of that rain was heavy there and produced up to a couple of inches of rainfall in just a short period of time. Live sweep of the radar, not showing anything going on near the immediate coast. Arcadia up to Lansing, a few lightning strikes starting to weaken there, that cell in particular, but it's still producing some pretty heavy rainfall rates, especially just north of Arcadia, where the rainfall rate has been up to 2 inches an hour with that particular cell. Now, we are anticipating some of these showers to develop these outflow boundaries, which will in turn create some showers that will move off toward the coast, and some of those storms will eventually wind on down, say after midnight tonight, but there's still a chance for a few showers and a few storms around. Water vapor imagery not showing up right now, but we have had a little bit more moisture coming into play over the southeast, not much here. As far as winds go, they're rather light. They're basically coming in out of the east now at around 10 miles an hour. We can see that a little less activity near the coast with the sea breeze moving from the west-southwest from Minnesota Beach to Inglewood to Northport, changing around to the northwest there. The day planner for Thursday, look for more of the same with the isolated inland storms, some of those producing some locally heavy rainfall. Jacqueline?
Okay, thank you, Bob. The Miss America pageant is trying to redefine its role in an era of female empowerment and gender equality. And the first step it's taking is dropping the swimsuit portion of the competition. Now, it may seem like a good idea from the outside, but how do those who have competed feel? ABC's Stephanie Webb tells us what former competitors who have worn swimsuits in that competition have to say about the move.
The judges are looking at each lady's commitment to health, fitness, and confidence. You at home, well, I know what you're looking at and I know what you're judging, so let's do this. Here's Miss Kansas, Teresa Vale.
In its 97-year history, the Miss America pageant became famous for its swimsuit competition. In fact, it was first called a bather's review.
For me, it was extremely positive.
That's how ABC7's Linda Carson describes her pageant experience. She was a runner-up in the Miss Georgia pageant in 1961.
We wore one-piece swimsuits in those days. I won the swimsuit division both times, didn't even place in the talent. I twirled a fire baton. I don't understand why those singers beat me out.
The Miss America organization has now undergone a major overhaul. Former Miss America and TV host Gretchen Carlson was appointed as chairwoman of the board after an email scandal last year in which Miss America officials mocked contestants' intelligence and looks. Now the leadership teams are all headed up by women, including past Miss America winners, hoping to change the focus from body to mind. So out with that swimsuit competition and in with contestants getting to promote their achievements and community service platforms. Losing the swimsuit part isn't something that Carson really minds.
Swimsuit, I'd like to see sports wear maybe, because honestly, Miss America's not going to be seen in a swimsuit again. So that's not really a part of what you need to be Miss America, but you do need to look good in a lot of different outfits.
Marianne Carson is a former Miss Sarasota. Her daughter, Katie Carlson, was Miss Florida 2002. She says competing in the swimsuit portion did teach her daughter how to be healthier. She trained for the swimsuit competition much like an athlete trains for a sport.
And it actually gave Katie a different perspective on how you take care of your body, what you need to do, the diet that you need. So she was doing things that she had never incorporated in her life before.
In a recent phone call, Carson said she asked her daughter about competing in the swimsuit part.
She said it was very liberating being on the Miss America stage in a swimsuit. However, she said that's time that I could have spent on my platform.
Stephanie Webb for ABC7, your Suncoast News.
Okay, thank you, Stephanie. Coming up next, we speak to those who have made the walk from the runway to the trapezoid. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
You now have the power to prioritize your Facebook feed and get local news and information from the team you trust. Go to the ABC7 Sarasota page on Facebook. Give us a like, then click following and choose See First. That's it. Customize even more by choosing notifications. Choose breaking news, posts, live videos, anything you want to see in real time. Take control of your newsfeed and stay connected to what's happening in your community with ABC7 on Facebook.
This is an important message for anyone with Medicare. You may be eligible for an all-in-one Medicare plan that combines hospital, medical, and prescription drug coverage together with extra benefits that may include dental, vision, hearing aids, and much more. Some of these plans have a $0 monthly premium regardless of your income. That's right. For one low plan premium, or in some cases a $0 premium, you may be able to get coverage for your hospital visits, doctor appointments, prescription drugs, routine dental care, eyeglasses and contact lenses, hearing aids, and possibly more. Today may be the first time you've heard about this type of Medicare plan. The advisors at the Medicare.com helpline are licensed insurance agents who will explain more when you call. Call now to see if you qualify. Call the number on your screen now. Call now to see if you qualify for these benefits. You worked hard for your Medicare. Now is the time for your Medicare to work hard for you. Not affiliated with or acting on behalf of any government agency or program.
My credit score was not that great. I didn't understand what went into my credit score. It was overwhelming.
Do you want to attain better credit health but don't know where to start? Credit Sesame can help by providing you a free credit score.
I love the app. It's so easy to use. It's like having your own financial coach.
Credit Sesame broke my credit score down into things that I understood, and it made me think I can do this.
And the awesome thing about Credit Sesame, it's free.
It's 100% free. You don't need to go it alone. Get started today at creditsesame.com.
Everything all right? Actually, you know how Tom had knee surgery? Sure. We found out Brad's been taking his painkillers. And it turns out he's been doing it for a while.
Most people don't know what to say about drugs, but we do. Visit us at drugfree.org.
What to expect when you're expecting a teenager.
Today we're talking about how to wake up your teen, and this works literally every time.
Give kisses. Good kisses. You heard how loud
I heard. It wasn't you. Yeah. It was the...
Is that bacon?
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Welcome back. Last week, the Miss America organization announced they will no longer have a swimsuit competition. But why the change now? Within the past year, we have seen many changes, women coming out and speaking up against sexual harassment and assault, which led to the Me Too movement. And in the midst of that movement, the Miss America organization had their very own harassment scandal, prompting the resignation of CEO Sam Haskell and other board members. Back in March, 9 new members of the board of directors, 7 of which are women, including new chairwoman and former Miss America 1989 Gretchen Carlson, approved the change of a no swimsuit competition in the Miss America organization. Carlson says, quote, "We are not going to judge you on your outward appearance," end quote. But isn't that the original point of the competition? Joining us for more is ABC7's Linda Carson, who was the runner-up in the Miss Georgia pageant in 1961. Thank you, Linda. Dana Dalton Judge, who was crowned Miss Florida in 1990 and is a board member on the Florida America system. And Marianne Carson, Mrs. International, a pageant coach and the mother of Miss Florida 2002. Thank you, ladies, for joining us. Well, our conversation on changes to the Miss America pageant begins right after we get a check on our first alert weather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob?
Good evening, everyone. The rain's starting to subside, but this was Lakewood Ranch at 4 o'clock this afternoon, and watch how it came down, in fact, and it came heavy at times, and then skies cleared out a little bit, and the storms have since moved on, at least here at Lakewood Ranch. Still, though, really building up into Hardee and DeSoto counties. Most of the heavy rain that was in Manatee County is over. Still some light rain lingering. We are starting to see some back building, though, toward the coast this evening near Northport. Some showers and storms right along I-75 near Northport. There's that heavy rainfall. Now, this is going to generate some outflow boundaries, which are little miniature cold fronts, if you will, which will move back toward the coast and can generate isolated cells popping up around 9, 10 o'clock tonight near the coast. In Parrish, boy, we had a lot of heavy rain, lightning, and even some small hail indicated by Doppler radar, but that has since moved on. Still some light rain in Bethany, some flooding concerns and problems with some of the water on the roadways near I-75 and State Road 64 earlier. That is starting to subside right now, and the rain has since moved on, but boy, it was heavy for a short period of time, dumping up to 2 inches of rainfall in less than an hour there. A live sweep of the radar, though, not showing anything going on in Venice, Inglewood, up to Sarasota, Siesta Key, looking pretty good right now. As I mentioned, the rainfall estimates near Lakewood Ranch, at least the eastern portion, they're up to 3 inches of rain. 2 inches right there near State Road 64 near Heritage Harbor. Forecast tonight does call for, as I said, a few isolated cells popping up here in the eastern Gulf of Mexico as that outflow boundary continues to work its way off to the west. Overnight, though, we'll see generally partly cloudy skies. Now, there's a chance for a few morning coastal showers, not much, at less than 20%. And then we'll start to see more of that activity developing inland as the sea breeze kicks in and eventually shifts off into the central portion of the state. Again, that'll happen in the afternoon hours, and we could see some isolated cells once again produce some heavy rainfall. The reason why is that the high pressure ridge is right over the top of us, and this is not allowing much movement with these storms once they develop. There'll be a slight drift off toward the north and northeast in time on Thursday afternoon and Thursday evening. So we'll repeat the performance again, I think, on Friday as a result of that high pressure ridge. Eventually it shifts off, though, off the Carolina coast, and we'll see a return to those afternoon and evening storms making their way back toward the coast on Father's Day. Not so much on Saturday. Friday and Saturday, most of the action once again will be inland and will be scattered about. Well, down in the tropics, we continue to watch this area of concern in the Western Caribbean, which is a favorite area for tropical development. The news is, though, that it's so close to land, this little disturbance, that it's not going to have a chance to really get going until possibly into the southwest Gulf of Mexico. If it does have a chance, it's at 20% over the next 5 days. If it were to develop, it would be in there, the Bay of Campeche, pushing off toward Mexico. And you can see that the European forecast model not really showing much going on. There's that little low pressure area heading off toward Mexico and South Texas, bringing some pretty heavy rainfall there. But for us, we'll see just those scattered afternoon and evening thunderstorms for the most part right along the sun coast, right in through the next several days. As far as the high goes, it was 90 today. It sure felt like summer, and we saw some summer-like storms, especially inland. The low this morning was 72. And as far as the boaters are concerned, winds will be out of the southwest, 5 to 10 knots tomorrow, and seas will be running right around 2 feet or less. Light chop in the bays and inland waters. We'll start off with a bit of an east wind, though, in the morning up until about 11 o'clock. The 7-day forecast calling for a slight chance at 30 on Thursday, a little less on Friday and Saturday. Father's Day, look for a few more coastal storms that develop, and the rain chance not all that high at 40%. And then we stay at 30% on Monday and Tuesday. Jacqueline will be back with her guests right after this. Stick around.
Since 1972, Sleep King has provided quality mattresses and accessories at the best discounted prices available. Top brands like Simmons, Sealy, Serta, Beautyrest, iComfort, and more. With available free delivery, free financing, and free setup and removal. For a comfortable night's sleep with same-day delivery, even if we have to carry it on our backs. Trust Sleep King of Sarasota. Buy it today, sleep on it tonight.
Excuse me a minute. Hi, Dad. No, don't try to get up.
Hi, I'm Julie, a right-at-home caregiver. And if I'd been caring for Tom's dad, I would have noticed some dizziness that could lead to balance issues. That's because I'm trained to report any changes in behavior, no matter how small. So Tom can have peace of mind.
We'll be right there. We have to go.
Hey, Tom, you should try Right at Home. They're great for us.
The right care, right at home.
Did you know that a dirty CPAP system can make you sick? If you knew what could be growing in your mask and hose, it would keep you up at night. Now SoClean.com has released the world's first and only automated hands-free CPAP cleaner and sanitizer. With its patented design, SoClean is fast, effective, and hands-free, killing 99.9% of all CPAP germs. Try SoClean now through this special TV offer free for 30 days. Just call 800-604-0398.
My health has improved. It's simple to use, and I'm not worried about infections.
SoClean works on all CPAP machines and popular masks, destroying CPAP bacteria, viruses, and germs without the daily hassle of washing your system by hand. Just place your mask in, close the lid, and in just minutes, voila! Sanitized and ready to use. Try SoClean risk-free for 30 days. This is a limited time offer. Call now, 800-604-0398. Or visit SoClean.com today.
All right, crew, let's get started. Sure.
Don't ignore the law. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 days before any digging project so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811.
Well, welcome back. We are discussing how the Miss America pageant will no longer have a swimsuit competition in its pageant. We are joined by ABC7's Linda Carson, who was the runner-up for the Miss Georgia pageant in 1961, Dana Judge, Miss Florida in 1990 and a board member on the Miss Florida America system, and Marianne Carson, Miss International, a pageant coach for many years and the mother of Miss Florida 2002. So thank you guys for joining us. First question, the obvious question I think people are asking is, it's a beauty pageant. Doesn't it come down to who's the most beautiful person on the stage and why the swimsuit portion would maybe be taken out of that?
You know, I think this is wrong because there was sexual harassment, but it wasn't the girls. It had nothing to do with them. So we're saying, well, you were wearing the wrong clothes, so to correct the problem, you have to wear something else. So it's sort of blaming the girls for the sexual harassment. That being said, I do think that, you know, Miss America never wears a swimsuit after that day, so I'd sort of like to see it go to sports clothes, something that I could copy and buy something like.
Well, Linda, I have to agree. I do feel it's part of the Me Too movement, and when this first came out, I was really upset, passionately upset that decades of tradition have just been wiped off the map, and we'll get into that a little bit more, but that's my initial reaction.
I'm also a traditionalist when I look back at the pageant, and I was a swimsuit winner at Miss America, and it was a great challenge for me because I was a theater music kid and I didn't have a lot of athleticism, so I had to learn to train, and it was a great training ground for me. But having still been involved with the pageant all of these years, 25 or plus years, I can see the reason and the need, and I understand where we're going, and we may have to go very far one way before we can come back somewhere in the middle.
I think that will happen. But you know, beauty's not a bad thing. Suddenly we're acting like, oh, you should be ashamed, you're beautiful.
Oh, but now it's not even about appearance. They've excluded that as well.
Okay. Right. Who said we don't judge people by their appearance? We absolutely do. And who of us who were in beauty pageants would have gone without makeup? You learn.
Oh, that's a good point.
You learn to look your very, very best.
Absolutely.
So it teaches you to look your
I
best.
say all the time, we would never show up for a job interview not looking our best, not dressed our best, not in our best shape, with our best attitude and well prepared. And that's what we are teaching these girls. But I think at this time we have to look at what's going on in the nation. We have to keep that at the top of our mind, be hyper aware of what's going on in the nation. And these young women are, and they're in a different era than we were.
Yes, they
and
are.
so they're answering to a lot harder questions than we were at the time.
So that brings me to my next question. When it comes to training for pageants and the dedication that goes into swimsuit, it's just like any other perhaps athletic event. I know, Marianne, you said your daughter trained specifically to prepare for the swimsuit competition. Is that something that these judges should take into consideration, and coming from a judge's standpoint as well, when you're looking at the Miss America contestants? Are you looking at who's in the best shape, or who's carrying themselves a certain way, or who's taking care of themselves?
Dana and I were talking about that just a little bit, and I know with Katie, you know, as all teens are, they're self-conscious. You know, they put a bikini on, how do I look? But for Katie, she really trained hard. Yvette here locally sponsored her, so she didn't have to pay a penny for that. But it is a part of dedication, mental control of your diet. So these young ladies are learning diet, what to eat, what not to eat, what kind of results they're going to get. Katie started running and kickboxing and doing things that she had never done before. So for her, being on the stage in a swimsuit, she's like, yes, I did it. You know, so it is a part of judging that discipline that they have.
And it's healthy. What she's doing are all very healthy things, and you learn that healthy's not bad. You also look better if you eat healthy
Within
and
this
run.
pageant, your ultimate goal is to be Miss America. Miss America travels hundreds of thousands of miles in the 12-month period that she serves. So she has to know how to control her eating, how to be in the best shape, the best health, to meet the responsibilities. She may have 2 or 3 appearances in one day, whether she's on television, she may have flown all night. She's got to be able to know what's best for her and how to maintain. So I think it's a lesson. There was a lesson in there, and they're going to have to figure out a way to do that
And
in
a
this
life
new way.
lesson,
Yes.
a life lesson,
All right, ladies.
because we all have to compete.
Now you got us all heated up.
I know. Well, we are just getting warmed up. Our conversation on Miss America Changes will continue after a quick break. Stay with us.
Are you a soccer mom or dad? Regardless of their age or experience level, when your kids play soccer or any other sport, there's one person on the sideline who is key to help recognize and seek medical care for sports-related concussion. It's you. You need to know the signs and symptoms of concussion, and you need to act if you think your child has been injured. Remember, when in doubt, sit them out. To learn more, go to cdc.gov/concussion. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004.
Who else has been taking your prescriptions? Keep your medicine and your family safe and secure. Mind your meds. To learn how we can help, visit the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids at drugfree.org.
My credit score was not that great. I didn't understand what went into my credit score.
It was overwhelming.
Do you want to attain better credit health but don't know where to start? Credit Sesame can help by providing you a free credit score.
I love the app. It's so easy to use. It's like having your own financial coach.
Credit Sesame broke my credit score down into things that I understood, and it made me think, I can do this.
And the awesome thing about Credit Sesame, it's free.
It's 100% free. You don't need to go it alone. Get started today at creditsesame.com.
Ever since I can remember, I've been intrigued by industrial design and the optimization.
Wait, that's passion? Ever since I can remember, my passion has been industrial design. We need 3D printers for Miss Adams' engineering program so that we are ready to solve 21st century challenges.
Impressive. Think It Up is a new initiative to support student-powered, teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classroom today? Think It Up.
We're losing exotic animals on a daily basis, and the ones that we have in captivity are really the ambassadors for their wild counterparts. I'm Clayton Rozier from the Big Cat Habitat and Gulf Coast Sanctuary, housing over 150 exotic animals that needed a great home. And if you love animals, please help them. Do it locally. Support your local no-kill shelters, your local wild animal sanctuaries. Make a difference where you can.
It's been about a month, and I can honestly say I've seen the change in me. I went from being a depressed girl who didn't want help to this happy, caring girl who loves helping other people. I just really hope that people that went through what I went through get the help that they need, because their story is important and they are loved. Thank you so much for everything.
You're watching ABC7 News at 7:30.
Welcome back. We are talking about the recent announcement of the Miss America organization saying it will no longer have a swimsuit competition in its pageants. Joining us for more is ABC7's Linda Carson, who was the runner-up in the Miss Georgia pageant in 1960, Dana Dalton Judge, who was crowned Miss Florida in 1990 and is a board member on the Florida America system, also competed at Miss America, and Marianne Carson, Mrs. International, a pageant coach, and the mother of Miss Florida 2002. Thank you, ladies. So, you know, this is an organization that has been in the works for nearly a century now. Started as a swimsuit competition originally, and now they want to move towards being all-inclusive. But let's be honest, I mean, we typically see these swimsuit-ready bodies on these women on this stage. Yes. What are your thoughts on being inclusive when it comes down to those women who may not have felt comfortable participating before?
There are all types of progressions that have happened through the pageant. I mean, we're always making it more modern. Swimsuit competition 100 years ago was very modern, if you think about it. So we're looking at how it's changed over the years. I mean, there was not always scholarship competition. So when they brought scholarship in, that changed some of the focus. Then they brought in talent competition, which was heavily weighted within the scoring system. So you've been modifying it and modifying it. It's one-piece swimsuits, and then it was bikinis, and now we're going to have none. So we're watching progressions. Things have changed. Some things have worked. Some things have been very positive. My hope is that this will be very positive, because the reason I have been a volunteer for so many years is because I've seen what the pageant does for these young women. And if it continues to do that in whatever iteration, it's doing its job.
You know, I think I am here today because of the pageants, because it gave me the confidence to walk into a room full of beautiful women and relax and be myself. Right. And I don't think I could have done that before. When I first started out, I was so frightened of those other girls. They all looked like you guys. I walk in, oh my gosh, look at these beautiful women. What am I doing
frightened
here?
Of you.
Oh, but then I learned that you can be nice even if you're pretty. Right. It taught me how to relax in any situation, standing on a stage in a one-piece swimsuit. Surely I could relax here just talking to people. Right. So it has been a life lesson.
I think that we need to go back and focus that swimsuit was taken out in 1928 and it was brought back in 1932. So just because they're taking out now doesn't mean it's not going to return. I think my biggest concern, you know, setting that aside, is that they're not calling it a pageant anymore. So that's upsetting to me. I mean, look up the definition of pageant. It's still a pageant. And the one thing that people really aren't talking about, and that's that the evening gown segment is going to be completely changed to formal attire. And that traditional...
What does that mean?
Well, who knows, Linda? It could be, who knows what it is. So Dana says they have somewhat of an outline, but no one's talking about that. And my daughter, because Katie was Miss Florida, and she and I have had a lot of discussions, and she's like, Mom, that really makes me mad, because what are we going to have, Miss America walk down the runway in a business suit or, you know, a cocktail dress?
Here's my thought. You know, we have had the traditions of many things. I don't think it's all going to change at once. We can call it formal wear, but I think that young women are going to feel most beautiful and most glamorous, probably in a gown or a dress of their choice. So there probably will be a good many who would always stick to that. And you're going to have the rebel who wants to wear her sparkly jeans, I guess, or whatever, or whatever that is.
Their reason for that is they said that the girls won't have to spend thousands of dollars, and you and I both know they get sponsors. Okay, these women that win these state pageants, they have sponsors. We have a regalia gown here in Florida. They sponsor, they're in Orlando, sponsor Miss Florida every year. The other states do. So when I hear things like that's their reasoning, that's the kind of stuff that really makes me upset. So I think the swing, and I love the system, and you know I do.
I know.
But you know, you come to Sarasota, you will see lovely gowns at all of the galas. All of the galas. So you need to learn to use them.
Remember, though, that there are a lot of states. I mean, Florida is especially blessed with our sponsors, but there are a lot of states that the pageant doesn't mean as much as it does in Florida, and they don't have the kind of sponsors, and some of the young women are responsible for getting their own things. I mean, we are extremely fortunate, and our winners are extremely fortunate, but you may go to another, I don't want to name particular states because I don't want to point that out, but they don't have the sponsors and they don't have the ability. So for them to feel comfortable and feeling glamorous however they do, I think that can be a positive as well, and I don't think we're going to see gowns just go away altogether.
Right. Beauty is a wonderful thing to watch. I love watching the Miss America pageant. My
too.
whole family sits there.
It's just a lot of it's just a lot of change all at once for us to get used to.
Well, and the Miss America system is a scholarship pageant, whereas Miss USA or some of the other systems in today's day and age are a little different, maybe going for a modeling contract or something like that. And instead of the swimsuit portion, these Miss America contestants will be participating in a live interaction session with the judges where they can give a little bit more detail about their social initiatives that they may be having and taking part in. But is this something you would rather see, or is that something that, that's going on in interview? Talk to me a little bit about that.
I have to say that what we do miss when we watch the television program is this 10 or 11-minute interview that these young women stand before like a press conference and answer questions about anything. A lot about themselves, a lot about political situations, a lot about what they would do as Miss America, what their platform is. But they have to have such vast knowledge and they have to be able to handle so many situations, and they're great at it, especially the young women who win. And that's what we're missing, because we don't know why this girl wins. We're picking the prettiest one, but the prettiest one has maybe not done as well in her interview as this other young woman. So that is so important. I believe if they can show that the way it really works, that people will be so impressed.
And that would be good, because that's what you have to do. That's what you should get from the pageant. How to do that when you look for a job.
Well, in the Miss America system, many of these women go on to be doctors, lawyers, politicians, and they have worked hard on their platform. And kind of the whole purpose behind the Miss America system is to have a platform and to speak passionately about something that you're interested in and you want to make a change in. So do you think that doing away with swimsuit and kind of resurfacing that around, is that make or break? Is this going to affect ratings? How will that affect it moving forward?
I don't know what the ratings are. I bet more women watch than men.
Well, I think more women will compete. I mean, I'm waiting. There should be a Miss Sarasota pageant right here and in our county. I don't know why we don't have them, but we should. We need sponsors, so someone give me a ring. But I think possibly that more girls would be entering, and that may be their take on it. That might be why they're making the shift of girls that don't have a lot of money. I was a single mom. It paid for Katie's entire college, 4 years. So they may look at. So, listen, they're smart. Gretchen Carlson is not, this is a whole board of former Miss Americas. They're the best of the best. So I'm sure there's a method to what they're doing. It's just a lot all at once.
Well, of course, the head of the whole thing was on Suncoast View, Regina Hopper. She's the CEO now.
Yes, and she is doing an awesome job. And they're making great decisions, and they are adding to their board people like me who are former state title holders, or we get to vote someone on to the board who represents us. So they're getting ideas from all levels, from people who've had all types of experience within the pageant. So it's not just coming out of nowhere. They really are researching it. They're really doing a great job trying to represent all of us, the volunteers and the young women, so that we are able to let them show the best of themselves, learn the most about themselves. My favorite saying that I always believe in about the pageant is, you watch this girl who wins and she gets so much, but the girl who placed in last place gets a whole lot too, because they're all working for the same goal. Somebody's going to get it. One person's going to get it. And number 49 isn't, but she's going to get so much that she takes with her into her job, into her personal life. And you just can't show that unless you've been part of it. When you're in it, you see it, and it's amazing to watch these young women grow. And I just say I stay year after year helping, because they keep me young.
Well, Katie says, Mom, any job I interview for, I get because of the Miss Florida Scholarship Program. That's absolutely.
Just year after year, I am blessed by these young women over and over. They're role models for my own daughters and the other young women that I introduce to them. And I just see them going everywhere and doing amazing, positive things. They're all special. They're all different, but they've all grown because of the Miss America program.
Well, I always felt pretty after that because I was in a beauty contest. And I thought when I walked out, people would boo me off the stage and throw things.
And
but
you're
they
still a
didn't.
stunner.
They didn't.
Yes.
I won that pageant. So I thought, wow, I don't care where I come in, just being in a beauty pageant was so uplifting.
Right. All right, ladies. Well, we have to take a quick break, but we will have our final thoughts when we return.
I heard about the Dotoli Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the Dotoli Cancer Center will find it using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was. I can tell you that you will not find a finer, more professional team of clinicians anywhere in the world.
Florida Studio Theater presents Always Patsy Cline, now held over due to popular demand. A tuneful and memorable tribute, Patsy Cline's rise to legendary stardom is told through the eyes of her biggest fan. Featuring such hit songs as Walkin' After Midnight, I Fall to Pieces, Crazy, and many more you know and love. Critics are calling Always Patsy Cline warm and genuine and engaging. Audiences calling it outstanding. Always Patsy Cline is now playing. Tickets can be purchased by calling 941-366-9000 or by visiting floridastudiotheater.org.
Did you know that a dirty CPAP system can make you sick? If you knew what could be growing in your mask and hose, it would keep you up at night. Now SoClean.com has released the world's first and only automated hands-free CPAP cleaner and sanitizer. With its patented design, SoClean is fast, effective, and hands-free, killing 99.9% of all CPAP germs. Try SoClean now through this special TV offer free for 30 days. Just call 800-604-0398.
My health has improved. It's simple to use, and I'm not worried about infections.
SoClean works on all CPAP machines and popular masks, destroying CPAP bacteria, viruses, and germs without the daily hassle of washing your system by hand. Just place your mask in, close the lid, and in just minutes, voila! Sanitized and ready to use. Try SoClean risk-free for 30 days. This is a limited time offer. Call now, 800-604-0398. Or visit SoClean.com today.
It's summer on the Sun Coast, and you know what that means. It's Friday Fest season.
And you are invited. Join ABC7 for the Van Wezel Performing Arts Hall's free outdoor summertime concert series.
Jam to dance music by Ja Movement on June 22nd. The Movement is sure to get you dancing.
With food trucks, beverage vendors, and more, it's the perfect spot to enjoy great music and a summer sunset over the bay.
For more information, go to this number or go to mysuncoast.com/FridayFest.
My credit score was not that great. I didn't understand what went into my credit score.
It was overwhelming.
Do you want to attain better credit health but don't know where to start? Credit Sesame can help by providing you a free credit score.
I love the app. It's so easy to use. It's like having your own financial coach.
Credit Sesame broke my credit score down into things that I understood, and it made me think, I can do this.
And the awesome thing about Credit Sesame, it's free.
It's 100% free.
You don't need to go it alone. Get started today at creditsesame.com.
Well, our guests join us for final thoughts tonight. And as the pageant tries to redefine its role of gender equality and female empowerment, Linda, what is your perspective? What are your final thoughts for our viewers tonight?
Well, I think pageants teach you to be the very best you can be in a lot of different areas. So I definitely hope we keep the beautiful look of formal wear, of some type of athletic wear, and we get to know the girls a lot better. Beauty is a great thing, and I hope we don't lose that, and we don't lose that show that focuses on beauty. It's not bad to be a beautiful woman, and I love watching it.
Okay, and for you, Dana?
I think many people have such a stereotype about what a pageant is, and we've seen these funny movies and things that stereotype the pageant. But I really wish that everyone had an opportunity to meet a young woman who is going to compete in Miss Florida or compete in Miss America, because I think their ideas would be changed. I think they would be impressed with the sincerity, the hard work that goes into it, the education of these young women, the commitment to their community, to their health. I think there's so much going on there. It's like training for the Olympics, but in 4 or 5 categories rather than just one. So they're pretty amazing, and I hope that everyone will give this new idea a real chance to grow.
All right, and for you, Marianne?
I'm going to really echo the words of my daughter, Katie Carson Molnar. And she says, you know, Mom, as invigorating as it was for me to prepare for swimsuit, she says, I would have much rather used that time to focus on my platform. And you know, that to listen to her, someone that had competed and been on stage, she's like, I'm glad they got rid of swimsuit. She's like, because they don't use a swimsuit, as Linda said earlier. It's in their contract. They can't even be in a swimsuit, from my understanding. I just hope they keep the elegance of evening gown. And I love the fact that they're going to show more of the interview. So I love the Miss America organization. Is what inspired me when I was a teenager. I was Miss Sarasota years ago. So I applaud them on trying to go in a positive direction for women. I think more people will compete.
All right, thank you all. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Well, before we go, we want to share with you what some of you had to say about last night's show on SROs in Sarasota County schools. In the aftermath of the Parkland massacre, where 17 students and staff died, the Florida legislature required a school resource officer in every school, kindergarten through 12th grade. Now, communities across Florida are struggling to figure out who will pay for that. All parties involved got together yesterday to talk about the factors in keeping the schools in Sarasota safe. We went to Facebook for your thoughts. Amy says, I think the school board is making things a lot harder than they need to be. If they handled the schools better, maybe I'd have more faith in them handling security. And Dave says, why can't properly trained civilians be accepted for these positions? I, for one, would be up for protecting the youth. Now, if you'd like to join the conversation on tonight's topic on the Miss America organization, head over to our Facebook page at facebook.com/mysuncoast.com.abc7. Now, thank you to Dana Dalton Judge, Linda Carson, and Marianne Carson for joining us tonight. When we return, President Trump is back from Singapore, where he met with Kim Jong-un. Why are some senators not as optimistic as others? Stay with us. Your primetime headlines are coming up in a moment, but right now let's get a final check on our first alert weather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan.
Thanks, Jacqueline. And we're looking at the Casey Key webcam. Different story here as opposed to the Lakewood Ranch webcam when beach conditions are really quite nice out there, with the exception of the red tide. We talked about this over the past couple of newscasts. Red tide is being reported. There have been some fish kills near Siesta, Crescent Beach, southward to Venice and Manasota Beach, as well as up into New Pass. Some fish kills there as well, and some irritation at some of those locations all the way up to the north end of Anna Maria. It's sporadic. It's not everywhere, but there is some problem there. With the red tide, we've had this westerly flow, which has been really bringing the onshore flow, and that brings the effects and harmful impacts of the respiratory problems for folks along the area beaches. Now, the heavy rainfall you see here in Central Florida is producing rainfall rates up to 2.5 inches an hour, causing some localized flooding there. This particular cell, I talked about it earlier, is starting to work its way westward now. Northport getting some rainfall. This will continue to progress toward Venice and Osprey and Nokomis, I think, in the next couple of hours. We had some tremendous downpours earlier near I-75, State Road 64, 70, all the way down to Lakewood Ranch. Now just one lone shower there reported, but the flooding had been a problem, especially near I-75 and State Road 64 earlier. That's starting to recede somewhat. But we'll keep an eye on this for you. It looks as though we'll have a chance to get some of this back into the coastal locations. Some isolated areas could see some showers later on tonight. Rainfall was heavy. In fact, up to 3 inches there at Lakewood Ranch, 2 inches where I showed you earlier near Heritage Harbor, but not much going on at Braden Beach, and all is quiet there. The Futurecast does show this line of showers progressing off toward the west into the Gulf of Mexico. There'll be a few scattered showers near the coast, as I mentioned, around 9, 10 o'clock, and then most of the action over during the early morning hours. It looks to be okay, although there is still a possibility of 1 or 2 lone showers after sunrise tomorrow right near the coast. There'll only be a couple, though, so no worry to cancel your plans there for if you're heading out to the beaches. And then inland storms in the afternoon pushing off basically to the east coast with a little bit of a west wind there. And then similar conditions expected on through Friday, too. We're not expecting and anticipating a lot of rainfall around. There will be 1 or 2 lone showers popping up here and there in the afternoon. One of those could produce up to a couple of inches of rainfall, as they will be slow movers. Well, we have this disturbance in the Western Caribbean, which is a favorite area for development this time of year. Although it's really close to the Yucatan Peninsula, you can see it right there. It's going to drift over that, eventually get into the Gulf of Mexico, where it has a small chance, a very small chance of developing into possibly a tropical depression over the next several days. And Bud out here is really weakened as it's moved into some cooler waters. It's going to bring rainfall eventually to the Baja of California, and then eventually on into Arizona and New Mexico, causing some flooding concerns there. As I mentioned, the 20% chance of developing into the southwest Gulf of Mexico. The European not really showing much, closed low a little bit on into Looks like over the weekend and into Monday and Tuesday, pushing off toward Texas and Mexico, but not a lot going on for us. Just those afternoon and evening storms possible, mainly inland, except on Sunday, Father's Day, we could see a little bit more come toward the coast in the afternoon. 85 degrees right now currently at the airport, and the pressure is 30.06 inches. The high today was warm, 90, and this morning's low was at 72. Both numbers fairly close to seasonal averages. For boaters, seas will be running less than 2 feet with a light chop on the bays and inland waters, southwest winds by the afternoon. The extended forecast, not much of a chance. We'll have some sunshine throughout most of the day, all the way through the weekend and beyond. A chance for showers and storms in the afternoon near the coast on Sunday as we see a little bit more easterly flow, bringing those storms inland toward the coast. But then slight chances on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week. Jacqueline will be back with primetime headlines right after this.
If you think it's hot outside, just wait until you see even hotter savings inside. Only at Rugs As Art Hot Summer Savings Sale event will you find the lowest prices on a vast selection of stunning rugs, furniture accents, and accessories. This special event only happens once a year, so hurry in before the best selections are gone. The Hot Summer Savings event ends soon, so don't miss out on the best prices ever. Rugs As Art, Sarasota's only area rug superstore.
Did you know you could get life insurance for less than 32 cents a day? With guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance through TruStage, you can get up to $25,000 in protection with a single phone call, and you cannot be turned down for any reason. Even if you have health problems or are living on a fixed income, guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance policies could work for you with prices starting at less than 32 cents a day. That's as low as $9.40 a month. TruStage can help free your family from immediate financial stress when you're gone.
Utility bills, mortgages, car payments, those are a lot of things that can add up pretty fast.
My mom didn't have life insurance and the cost all fell on me. And that's expensive. We're still paying for that.
Yeah, we're still paying for that.
Call 1-800-218-4991 now. In one phone call, you can help prepare your family with protection amounts up to $25,000. There are no medical tests or health questions. And remember, you cannot be turned down for any reason. In fact, TruStage policies are already protecting over 18 million Americans. And rates are designed to be affordable, starting at less than 32 cents a day. That's as low as $9.40 a month. Plus, your price will never increase and your benefit will never decrease.
When I leave, everything will be taken care of for them.
Call 1-800-218-4991 now for a free, no-obligation quote. TruStage offers plans to fit your budget with prices starting at less than 32 cents a day. Help protect your family from immediate financial burdens after you're gone with guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance through TruStage. Call 1-800-218-4991 now.
We've all heard how military veterans adjusting to the civilian world may have certain issues.
30. 78.
If only everyone had this issue. No matter what challenge they face, Easter Seals is here for America's veterans.
Checking in on primetime headlines after the historic breakthrough, a sitting U.S. president and North Korean dictator striking a deal. The president declaring there is no more nuclear threat from North Korea as some senators expressed some doubt. ABC's Serena Marshall reports from Washington.
President Trump back home and with a bold claim, tweeting, "Everybody can now feel much safer than the day I took office. There is no longer a nuclear threat from North Korea." The statement after a historic handshake and deal with the North Korean dictator that has the president promising unspecified security guarantees for Kim, who declared his unwavering commitment to denuclearizing the Korean peninsula, but lacking specifics about when or how that will be accomplished and whether it will be verified. The Foreign Relations chairman called that tweet hyperbole.
The president has a tendency from time to time to do something ad hoc that hasn't been vetted with people around him.
As the Speaker of the House expressed cautious optimism.
And we should be under no delusion of our experiences with North Korea. It's a terrible regime. They've done terrible things, and they've been deceitful in the past. But it's really important that we disrupted this status quo like the president has.
It's not the first time the North Koreans made promises to denuclearize, happening last during both the Clinton and Bush administrations. Democrats questioning the basis of the claim.
What planet is the president on? Saying it doesn't make it so. North Korea still has nuclear weapons.
While the Secretary of State fired back, telling reporters, despite the language used in the agreement, complete encompasses verifiable in the minds of everyone concerned.
Secretary Pompeo also said they absolutely want to see major nuclear disarmament within the next 2 to 2.5 years. Serena Marshall, ABC News, Washington.
The House of Representatives is set to vote on 2 key immigration bills next week. This after Republican leaders on Tuesday pulled together an agreement that met the demands of moderates and conservatives alike. The deal came just moments before time ran out to avoid a rebellion by moderates who were planning to force a vote on that issue. The agreement also involves 2 measures, one from the conservative wing that is unlikely to pass, the other a bill that is being drafted to present a solution for DACA recipients. Michael Cohen, President Trump's personal attorney, has split from his own legal team. Cohen's lawyers had included partners from the large Chicago legal firm McDermott, Will & Emery. The team partnered with Cohen through a high-profile FBI raid and an ongoing criminal investigation into his personal financial dealings. Cohen has retained a new lawyer, but there's no word yet on who that is. The change in legal representation comes as criminal charges against Cohen seem increasingly likely. That's all the time we have for this evening. I'm Jacqueline Matter. Thank you for joining us tonight. Alan Cohn will return tomorrow evening. Have a great night.